Frederic Wehrey, you've recently returned from Libya. What more can you tell us about the tensions in Zliten, where this attack on the police took place?
Well, this is an area where the Islamic State has tried to mount some probing attacks. I mean, they've got their base in the town of Sirte, which is a ways to the east. And what they're clearly trying to do is disrupt the formation of an effective government, of an effective police force, so they can expand their rule in the country.
And are we seeing increasingly that Libya is becoming some kind of a backstop for Islamic State as they come under pressure from these airstrikes from the coalition in Iraq and also in Syria?
That's the real fear. I mean, this is in many ways ripe territory for their expansion. I mean, there's no government. It's lawless. There's plenty of arms. They've already got a foothold in this one city of Sirte. There's already a base of sort of jihadist sentiment in some areas. So this is the real concern.
But it isn't just Islamic State, is it? There are others, too, who are causing chaos, aren't there?
It's a very crowded field. I mean, the country is awash with militias, and some of those militias are old al-Qaeda groups. And so there's a bit of competition between the jihadists. And so what we found in the eastern town of Derna was that the Islamic State was actually pushed out there by a rival jihadist group that was aligned with al-Qaeda.
And you technically have these two rival governments, don't you, that you were talking about. Do they talk to each other in any way?
They have been. I mean, this is the real focus of the United Nations effort in the West to try to get them to form a unity government, because right now they're so busy fighting each other that it's a distraction, and the Islamic State is able to insert itself and expand into that vacuum.
But are the UN efforts to get some kind of unity government going anywhere? I mean, people keep talking about this, but...
The two factions signed an agreement for a unity government, so it's there, at least on paper. But the trick is, how do you implement that? How do you create a government on the ground that is capable of extending its authority over this country? And that has not happened yet.
And also Libya is a jumping-off point for all the migrants who are headed for Europe. How far does that complicate the situation?
Well, it's just another destabilizing factor. I mean, there is some concern that the Islamic State could use that migrant trade, although we haven't really seen that yet. I think it's primarily a concern of human rights abuses and the tremendous abuses that occur when that smuggling goes on.
It's almost 5 years since the fall of Colonel Gaddafi. Is the chaos now, if anything, even worse than at the moment when he fell?
Absolutely. I mean, the Libyans I speak with are tremendously disenchanted with the country. I mean, many have left. There's unfortunately some nostalgia for Gaddafi's rule, that for all of his excesses, there was at least security, there was at least stability. So the country is in a really dire shape.
And the people that you speak to, what do they see as the way out of the chaos?
Well, they see that this is a small country that has a lot of oil wealth, and the divisions there, we have to remember, are not the stark ethnic sectarian divisions that we see in Iraq or Syria. So they want outside help. They want their leaders to be wise and to come together.
Frederic Wehrey, thank you very much for joining us.
Absolutely.